Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
With ROBB FLYNN.
What up, what up, what up, podcast party people? What's happening? How you doing? How you living? How you feeling? Are you vibing? Surviving? Thriving? Better not be conniving. Oh, man, what crazy times these are. Fucking crazy times. I got to give a shout out first and foremost to Vogue, guitar player for Machine Head. Him and his friends have been taking medical supplies and fresh water to the good people of Ukraine who have been fleeing the war that Russia started over there. And they've been taking it there pretty regularly, and in fact, they've set up a PayPal to help them with their expense. If you want to donate, these are in coordination with several Ukrainian relief charities, and so. If you're interested in donating, and many of you have, Dog was telling me that, like, after we put it out yesterday, that tons of people donated, which was awesome to hear. But yeah, there is a bunch of money. So if you want to go over to the Machine Head, just check it out. It's all that information's on our socials. But if you hadn't heard that, definitely a way. And shout out to Vogue and his friends for doing all that stuff. You know, there's 650,000 people have fled Ukraine since the war started. This illegal, immoral war that Russia started with Ukraine. And they've showed a fuck ton of fighting, way underestimated the resolve of the Ukrainian people. It's not Ukraine, it's Ukraine. And, man, it's been fucking wildly impressive to watch. I mean, scary shit. You know, people standing up to tanks and shit, like forming human barricades in front of tanks. It's been their leader, Lazinski's. He's a badass, man. He's a fucking badass. And, they've showed an incredible amount of resolve. And Vogue, again, got to give a shout out to him for taking medical supplies. You know, he lives in Krakow, Poland. It's only 3 hours from the border to Ukraine. And so, the fighting's like 1 hour inside of that. So, yeah, he's right there in the mix of all of it. So, crazy times, man. Crazy times. A lot of Russian people don't believe in the war. There's been tons of anti-war protests from Russian people, which is very heartening to see. The biggest rapper in Russia, I guess, is Oxymoron. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but he came up against the war. Slaughter to Prevail came out, said no to war. All kinds of travel bloggers and influencers and other rappers and musicians and artists all coming out. I mean, this is pretty much unheard of. This type of stuff is unfucking heard of. Like severe consequences for speaking out. People arrested and disappearing. There's been protests all over, all over Russia. People coming out, thousands of people protesting, and they're not into it. They're like, no, not cool, not okay at all. So, man, it's been a crazy time. So I hope you're all getting through it well, not getting bogged out in too much social media overload with it. Let's see what else has been going on. I think you're going to like this podcast. This band is fucking ripping. You got to check these guys out, man. Fucking crushing, dude. Really good shit. Malevolence. New album coming out called Malicious Intent. And, yeah, I was very stoked. These guys, I've been rocking these guys a lot lately. Killer to work out to. I've been working out like a motherfucker to these guys. Squats, bro. Fucking squats. Never miss leg day, man. Never miss leg day. Jared and I just did a photo shoot with Travis Shin, the amazing and incredibly talented Travis Shin. Album photo shoots, promo photo shoots. Yeah, turned out really good. Fucking awesome. It's going to be sick, dude. It's going to be a really badass package. Cover art's done. I'm going to go crazy between now and the release of this record. I want to fucking get all this shit out, man. I want you to start hearing these songs. Fucking banging your head. And motherfuckers are going to, you're not ready. You're not ready. You think you're ready. You ain't ready. No. Yeah, it's going to be good shit, man. I'm excited. Fucking excited. Just want to fucking put it all out there. Why do we got to wait? I have no patience. Actually, I've got a lot of patience, but fuck. I'm excited, man. So, yeah, that was some good stuff. Going to get ready to shoot. Probably going to be shooting a video next week. That's pretty exciting for a fucking ripper of a song. Ripping ripper of a song. Yeah, let's see. What else is going on? I'm watching Game of Thrones with my youngest son, Wyatt. Ginevra and I have watched, I think this is our 4th time watching Game of Thrones now. But, you know, it's fucking great. Love that show. So much violence and treachery and sex. Fucking God, man. Just brothels and lesbians, and it's hot. It's kind of weird sometimes watching it. Like, hey, close your eyes. Oh, wait, you're 15 now. You can't. It's more awkward for Ginevra than it is for me. She's like, okay. It's so well done. Such a great story, man. I think we're on season 1 still. It's just like so much shit still to happen. So much stuff to happen. But actually, I think we just got into season 2. Yep, Happy Hour is returning this Friday. Just so you know, the Electric Happy Hour that's going on this Friday, streamed live on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube, is going to be a trifecta of birthday awesomeness. It is Barbecue's birthday, and Filthy Phil's birthday, and Kirk McCray-Cray's birthday, and Barbecue in particular really wants everybody to do beer bongs and shots and shoey, which is where you pour a beer into a shoe and then drink it out of the shoe. Shoeys, beer bongs, shots, emu uppercuts, which is where you do a shotgun of the beer and then you punch it. And then if you do it, film a video of it and then stick that shit up on whatever and then use the hashtag Electric Happy Hour. And we will probably regram them. We will regram, repost your beer bongs and your shots and your shoeys and all that good stuff. So in honor of the epic trifecta of birthday awesomeness and ragingness that's happening, it's also going to be an alcohol-themed show. Nothing but drinking songs. Well, you know, a lot of drinking songs. Jared and I are going to learn a bunch of country songs and drinking songs. Country. We're going to play, I'm going to need some whiskey glasses if I'm going to see the truth. She's probably making out on the couch right now with someone new. You know what I'm talking about. That fucking Morgan Wallen. I can't stop listening to him. Fucking love Morgan Wallen. Some of the older stuff. Couple songs off the new. His new album's too goddamn long, but there is some bangers on there. Every song's about drinking whiskey. Like, shit goes good, drink some whiskey. Shit goes bad, drink some whiskey. It's basically a template on how to become an alcoholic. The whole record. Every song, I'm like, holy moly, dude. All right. You know, it's new lyric. You know, try another word besides whiskey. It's a good word, whiskey. And it's always got like a it's whiskey. It's got an H at the front of it. It's like HWHISK. Whiskey. I'm going to need some whiskey glasses. Yeah, we're going to do that. I'm going to do some other songs that we fucked around with. Should be fun, man. So tune in. Electric Happy Hour's back after taking the week off. What am I going to do? I'm going to play you some Malevolence. Do I have Malevolence pulled up? Oh, my God. I totally failed. I didn't pull up Malevolence on my fucking Spotify like I usually do before this. What the fuck, man? Malevo. There it is. There they are. All right, check this out. Brian Garrison from Knocked Loose showing up on this song called Keep Your Distance. Banger. I think it's Brian. I should know this. He was on my fucking podcast. It's embarrassing. I say it's Brian Garrett. Brian Garris. Yeah. I got it all. Garrett. Brian Garris. Sick, right? Shit's heavy as fuck, dude. This is their new track right now that just dropped. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna play this song for you. This song, though, is fucking cool, dude. Fucking guitars. We talk about this song. This song's awesome. The singer Khan sings it. Good shit, right? Probably didn't expect this out of this band. Very, very cool song, man. You gotta listen to this. I can't play the whole thing, but that song's called The Other Side. First song was called Keep Your Distance. This is their new single, out on Nuclear Blast and their own record label. This song is called On Broken Glass. Video's pretty sick, too. Hear that little machine head harmonic in there? Heavy, right? Know what I'm saying? Check these motherfuckers out, dude. Check these motherfuckers out, dude. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome to No Fucking Regrets, Mr. Alex Taylor of the mighty Malevolence. Alex Taylor, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm very grateful to be here. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm very stoked to have you on. I've been listening to your latest crushing album, and it's been splitting my head day after day as I'm working out doing squats. It's awesome.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man. What's that? What's that in the back? What's this thing in the back behind you over here?
This thing?
Yeah.
So this is just where I'm at right now is our studio that we built during the lockdown. So this is like the control center, I guess.
Okay.
Just behind the screen here, we've got a recording booth. The MLV Ltd is just our record.
Oh, that's
label.
your record label.
Yeah. This is like where we tracked all of the vocals for the new album.
Awesome, man.
But yeah, this is I'm in the control center right now.
Oh, shit, you're in HQ. I love it. You're in HQ. That's pretty badass. Now I was reading about that you guys kind of built it. I guess it was pretty shot when you guys moved in, and you guys like put up the walls and did the wiring and the piping and.
Yeah. So it was like it was a lockdown project for us, really. So we when we first moved in, or when we first came to even look at the place, it was like completely barren. The room that I'm in now was actually like an old toilet that all the urinals had been ripped out, and it was gross. Like the whole place was falling apart. And then we moved in. Like downstairs is where we run the merchandise and the warehouse, the label side of things. And then upstairs is we built this studio from the ground up. It was a labor of love, really. Like we just kind of put our heads together and said we need a space that we can come and be creative, and come and really invest our time and make somewhere that we want to be, when we were writing and recording, because the place we were at before was just like your typical like something out of Saw movie, kind of looks dark and dingy corridors and
fluorescent lights everywhere. Yeah,
really seedy, really not very nice, not somewhere you want to go and try and write. So we just thought, this is what we're going to invest a lot of time in, and spend a lot of time in. So we really invested ourselves into it.
That's awesome, man. No, I think it's now I was reading that you guys got, so you guys have your merch and you do all your merch yourself. Yeah.
So we've always tried to keep as much as we can, just like ourselves. We've always been quite a DIY outfit anyway. From like back in the day when our drummer's mum's living room was piled high with merch boxes, and there was like an operation for a good few years where everything was run out of our drummer's mum's living room. So and now we have this
super nice mom.
yeah. I've got a shout out to Sue, because she's an amazing woman. Shout out. Yeah, Sue and Steve, they helped us out a lot. And we just took over their house for like a good 5 or 6 years.
I think it's awesome to hear stuff like that. There was when we first started, we did that. We kind of came from like punk rock hardcore scene, and then at some point, like we just we got convinced to sell off our merch, and then for a long time it was just in another company's hands. And it's so cool to see bands nowadays like really taking that back into their own power and like their own control, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's good for us, because we always like to have that kind of hands-on approach, and especially like when it comes to like engaging with the people who buy our merch as well. It means that we can really like that when you buy a t-shirt, like it's being packed by the band, it's being given to the postman. It's like literally coming from our hands to you. So I think people like that.
Do you guys all sit down and actually pack the merchandise orders?
I'm not even going to pretend that I do it, because I don't. But
okay.
Wilkie, our bassist, and Charlie, our drummer, they're the main brain force, and we have a couple of friends who help us out as well. So I pitch in when it's needed. But yeah, no, they're the main hands on deck.
When you guys sit down though, like I was checking out your merch, and it's very lots of windbreakers. Like you guys got the new pink windbreaker for the ladies, I guess, which was cool. I mean, like when you guys are like, do you sit down as a band and go, okay, this is what we're gonna do for like our merch line? You know, like what isn't being done, or like how does that all happen?
So mainly it's our bassist Wilkie. Like he designs most of our stuff. So I know he spends a lot of hours like really kind of perfecting and creating what we think is cool merch. And then he'll like send us some ideas over just like Facebook and say, hey, what do you think to this? Or what do you think we should do for this campaign or something like that? So yeah, we don't necessarily sit down. It's just we kind of put a lot of our trust in him, and he does an amazing job. Just kind of handles it really, and it's you know, we've done some really fun items. Is like just at the Christmas just gone, we did some like advent calendars and hot sauces, and you know, we just try and make like, obviously we've got like the t-shirts and the hoodies and stuff, but we kind of want to try and make new things, some novelty stuff, some fun stuff, and try and keep it interesting. Yeah,
I love it that you did an advent calendar over Christmas. That's hysterical.
yeah. Do you know what?
Is it like a death metal splattery? Like what's the vibe?
You know what? I don't think I've got one. I should have actually got one, but they like, it was just a photo of us. Like,
okay,
it's a bit tongue in cheek. Like we're kind of like photoshopped to look like giants over a city.
Okay.
But when we ordered them thinking that they would come in like an A4 kind of size. And then they actually turned up and they were about this big, like mini calendars. So we just kind of ran with it, and we're like, yeah.
You can stick like one candy corn in each day or something.
Yeah. So it was that was pretty funny. But they came out sick, so, and people liked them. So we just kind of, you know, just included them in with like merch bundles and stuff like that. Right
on. Congrats on getting signed to or partnering with the Nuclear Blast. I'm not sure what exactly you guys did, but that's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you. That was it's kind of a bit surreal almost, because like Nuclear Blast is like a label that we've all kind of grown up with. So to be in this position of like putting a release out with them is just mind blowing. Like I'm still don't really know what to say, but I'm really grateful. Like, and obviously we dropped the first song the other week, and the reaction has been incredible. They did an amazing launch. So yeah, it's amazing. I'm really grateful.
Is that the Unbroken Glass?
Yeah.
So
yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was strange almost, because I'm sure you know better than anyone. Like when you have this body of work that you're sat on for so long, like this album's been finished for nearly a year and a half, and we're kind of just like,
holy shit, wow.
Yeah, like waiting, you know, kind of waiting for release schedules, and obviously with the last couple of years, everything's had a bit of a backlog when it comes to vinyls and pressings and stuff like that. So we've had this body of work, and we were kind of just ready to put it out into the world. But then you've got to kind of hold back, I guess, and just wait for the right time. But now it's out there. Like the first song's out there. I'm like, wow, like this is it. The ball's rolling now. It's exciting. It's really exciting.
Yeah, cool video.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. We filmed it.
Rowdy as fuck. It looked rowdy as fuck. I was like, holy shit, people are going off.
Yeah, that's like a standard Malevolence show. Like we try and capture. That's what we wanted to do with that video. When me and our bassist Wilkie kind of came up with the idea of what we wanted to do, and we knew we wanted to have like a live video that kind of really captures the energy of a Malevolence show. And I feel like that video does it quite well. We did it all in Sheffield, like 5 minutes down the road from where we live, in this warehouse, in a courtyard of this warehouse. And yeah, we did everything. We hired the stage, built the PA, put on a show, like got the support bands, and just made it like what we wanted to see, like a show that we'd want to go to, and just invited all of our friends and our family down. And yeah, it's crazy. One of my favorite shows we've ever played. Absolutely insane.
You built the stage?
We didn't physically build it, but we basically there's a stage company in Sheffield that we used, and we told them how we wanted it and where we wanted it and how big, and you know, so on and so forth.
Gotcha. Yeah, because you can't do shows inside yet, or you just wanted to do it outside and have a certain look?
So when we did it, it was not long after like the release of some of the restrictions. So we were allowed to do you were allowed to do shows inside at that point, but we just knew we wanted to go for that open air look anyway, and just we were like praying, because obviously we live in the north of the UK, so the weather is very, very unpredictable. Like you can have glorious sunshine one day and it'd be snowing the next day.
Okay.
So we were like, we knew we wanted to do it outside, and we wanted to try and do it on a weekend where we prayed for, you know, good sunshine, and we got really lucky with it, which was crazy, really, thinking about it, because yeah, like I said, the weather's so unpredictable. But yeah, I love those. Like we really got inspired by seeing like some of the like the Instagram videos that were coming out of like LA, like some of the Section 8 videos when they were playing like in like to 2,000 people under an underpass during lockdown, and there was police and helicopters and all that crazy shit going on. And we were just like, yeah, let's you know, that's amazing. Let's do a version of that. People are crying out for like a live show, and to somewhere to go and let off a load of steam. So let's do that.
Yeah, that sounds cool, man. Yeah, it turned out killer. Song's cool. I like your so it's the two vocalists, like Conan or Con, I don't know how you say his name.
Con, yeah.
All right. Yeah, no, it's cool. He's got like a total Kirk Windstein kind of a vibe to him, you know.
Yeah. He's it's weird because everyone always compares him to Kirk. And when we actually met Kirk a few years ago at a festival in Germany, and it was our guitarist's birthday, Con's birthday, and I tried to get him to sing for Kirk, and I said, look, this guy sings just like you. And Kirk was like, well, fucking sing for me then, man. And I was like, Con, you've got to sing for the guy. And Con was like there in the corner, like all shy and like, yeah. But yeah, it's that was like, I think that's the one time we met him, and I'm pretty sure we kind of forced him to do shots with us at some point, because it was
he's the best. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's a really cool dude, really cool. But yeah, Con wouldn't sing for him, unfortunately.
What? Even after all the shots, he wouldn't sing for him?
No. It was I think he
was he too in awe or something?
I think so, yeah. Like obviously it's that Kirk is a massive inspiration for him, for all of us. So it's kind of like one of them where I think when he was put on the spot and he'd had a few beers, it was in the middle of the day, he wasn't feeling it. But yeah. Oh well. I'll try and get him next time.
Kirk is so fucking fun to hang out with. Like Did you guys hang out for a while with him, or was it just kind of like a quick thing?
It was a quick thing, yeah. One of our friends was on tour with them, and yeah, he kind of introduced us, and like we were just hanging out for a little bit. I did a couple of drinks, and that was it. But yeah, we've met him as well when they played in Sheffield, and I think we like had a, you know, like the hello over the merch desk kind of thing.
Okay, right on.
Never really hung out properly.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, if you ever get a chance at a festival or something, definitely like make it a priority to go hang out. We hung out with him in New Orleans one time, of all places. Fuck. And it was he's got a huge cock too, which he likes to whip out at the bar. Like, and you're like, God damn, it's a fucking forearm with a goddamn baby's head on it.
Do you know what? I'm not even surprised, man. Have you heard how that dude's guitar sound is so heavy? I'm not even surprised.
Right.
You've got to have a big dick if you're pulling out them guitar tones.
Right. Right. He was so fucking funny to hang out with, and we were oh my God, they had I don't even remember the name of the bar, but it was some bar, and we were hanging out with oh God, what was the guy's name? It was fucking, he kept on we call him Snowflake. Snowflake, not like Snowflake like liberal person, but like back then it was Snowflake because of Snowflake.
Oh yeah, okay.
And this bar that we were at had like, it just had come in, like all these kind of flavored alcohols had just come out, like, which, you know, this was a while ago, so it was kind of like flavored whiskeys and flavored Jaegers and flavored, you know, it was cinnamon this and spicy pepper that, and, you know, cold menthol this, and so for some godforsaken reason, we thought it'd be good to try every one of those. Like, you know, they're just filled with sugar, and like, oh, the fucking hangover the next day was just absolutely devastating.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, they go on, sorry.
Totally worth it, though.
Yeah, I can imagine. I've noticed that the sugary drinks get you worse than just the beers.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah. Every time I drink Fireball, the few times I've ever drank it, I'm like, fuck.
Every time, man. Every time.
Jeez. And it tastes so goddamn good going down, but you're like, fuck, kicking my ass.
What's your go-to drink then? What do you like? What's your favorite?
I'm more of like I'm not a big whiskey guy. Like whiskey, I don't know, makes me want to kind of fight and makes me my stomach kind of fucks with my stomach and so I've always been more of a vodka guy. So I'll drink Grey Goose. I drink Grey Goose and Bailey's, which is very sugary, but I just make Grey Goose and Bailey's, yeah. And it sounds weird, but like I quit coffee a while ago, and I don't know. I think my body was just like, my body went through some crazy coffee withdrawal freak out. And so I started drinking stouts and switched to Bailey's and vodka because it was like, that's where I'm going to get my coffee from.
Okay.
And I've just kind of stuck with it. I think it's pretty good.
All right. Okay. I wouldn't have thought you was a Bailey's man, to be honest.
I had never had Bailey's before this. Like I'd literally never, ever drank Bailey's in my life. And just one day it sounded good. I was like, fuck it. I'm going to try some coffee drink in my vodka. And I was like, fuck, I can jam on this.
Fair. I mean, that Bailey's is like something that me and my family like maybe have one at Christmas. That's like, you know,
okay.
Yeah, I don't know why. I always associate that drink with Christmas, but.
Okay. Yeah. Here, I don't know. Yeah. People over here in America, it's more like you put it in your coffee. Like
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
What do you guys, what's your drink of choice?
To be honest, like I'm not a massive drinker, but if I had to choose, it was probably like a spiced rum or something like that.
Okay.
Spiced rum. I'm not a big whiskey fan. The lads, I know they like gin, and like they're big on their gin. So like whenever we get asked what do you want in your dressing room, it's always a bottle of gin some like prosecco or something like that. They were a big fan of that. But
okay, so they drink. So what do they have the gin with? Nothing.
Anything.
Anything. 7-Up, gin and 7-Up.
Yeah. Anything they can get their hands on. But yeah, like tonic, gin and tonic.
Okay, gin and tonics. All right, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, I've never went down that route. What brand of gin?
Again, any. But I think Gordon's is it
okay.
Gordon? I'm not a big gin fan, to be honest. So yeah, at least I just kind of give them the bottle and I'll see them in a few hours and pick up the pieces after the show.
Is that because you're singing or is it just because you're just not too big of a drinker?
A bit of both, really. Like I'll drink even like social occasions, but when it comes to like singing, I try and like not do anything. Not drink anything at all before the show, and then maybe after the show I'll have a couple of beers or something to kind of like wind down. But yeah, I try and just chill out be as healthy as possible before the show, and then afterwards it's like, yeah, anything goes.
Right. So, I don't know if I got my time frame right, but the last thing that I heard was that you guys are going on tour, or maybe you already went on tour with Architects and
yeah, so that's in May.
Oh, okay. So that hasn't happened yet.
No, not yet.
Okay.
So yeah, it's really, really excited to be a part of that. Like, obviously, it's another band that we've kind of grown up listening to, and to be invited to play with them, as playing like some huge venues we've never even like dreamed of playing, is incredible. So yeah, super great.
Yeah, it's like an arena tour, right?
Yeah, man. I'm super
wild.
I'm so nervous. I actually in my side job I work in security and events and stuff like that. So I've been to work at some of these places we're playing, and I know how big they are, and I'm just thinking in the back of my head, I'm like, oh man, you've got to stand on that stage and be like the focus of everyone's attention, and it's a bit nerve-wracking, but
dude, that's awesome though. Like, you already know, like you've already been to the venue that you're gonna be playing. Like, that's killer.
Yeah. It's
like, I used to stand there. You know?
Yeah.
Like, you could say that to the fans and be like, dude, that used to be me right there. Now you can do this too.
Well, funny you should say that, really, because we played Bloodstock last year, and I did security at Bloodstock Festival a few years ago, and so this year when we played, I knew all of the security in front of the stage. Like, they're all good friends.
That's killer.
And I said halfway through the set, and I pointed at my friend, and I was like, "Look, this is my friend Adam. It's his birthday today. I want to see as many crowd surfers as I can over this barrier." And I remember seeing like all of the security, the stage spotters, the supervisors just turn and look at me and go, "You fucking dick." And then and it was awesome because like the crowd loved it, and they were on board. But it's sick as well because a few of the other venues that we've played in the last couple of months have been venues that have worked out as well, and so been able to use that line and that mosh call quite a few times. And it's fun. It's fun. I think I've got a bit of a unique experience, a unique viewpoint being where I am, because I've kind of some of the venues we've played, I've been the live event manager, the security, and then the guy on the stage causing all the chaos. So it's cool. Like, to have like a 360 view of what's going on.
Right.
Sorry,
go ahead.
Yeah, I was just like working security at those wild events is like what I enjoy doing. It's what I've done for like the last 4 or 5 years. So I know how fun it can be to be stood on that barrier, catching all the crowd surfers coming over, and just like, I love seeing crowds go wild. That's my bread and butter. So
right. I mean, that's always the best thing too, when like you've got a good security crew that know what to do, and you're not, sometimes you get a fucking asshole security crew that like doesn't understand what is supposed to be happening. And what they're supposed to be doing, let kids fucking drop, like let kids fall on their fucking heads, or it's fucking lame.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like, I mean, do you have any standout moments in your career that have like when you've like had to stop or anything like that?
Oh my God, so many times.
Yeah,
like, so many fucking times, like kicking security guards in the back of their heads because they're like, they drop people and then like fucking like try and fight them once they stood up. Like they wouldn't catch them and then would like get all in their face, and it was like, what the fuck, dude? Like this isn't your job. Your job isn't to like push them out of the barricade or like fight them out of the barricade. It's to catch them and help them get on their feet and, go back into it to do it again.
Make sure everyone's having a good time. Like, that's what you're there for. Yeah. So we've, touch wood, never had like anything too bad. Like a few years ago, like we had a few, like there was like a transition phase where we went from playing the smaller kind of intimate venues to the bigger ones, and I think we had a few like incidents where we've had to tell people, yo, calm down, like they're just kids. Just kids, and everyone's here for a good time. Everyone knows what's going on.
I mean, I think too, like I think a guy like you, especially because you've probably been on the receiving end of a bunch of like, I don't know how many security briefings, like a band comes in, they're like, hey, this is what we want you to do, or like you kind of know what not to do.
Yeah.
And not what not to say to the security guards so that everybody has a good vibe. I mean, do you ever do like do you ever go talk to the security like when you're playing a show?
Yeah, and normally I do it for all the big festivals, all the big shows. It normally falls to me to do it, and most of the time, like I quite enjoy it because I'll tell them what's going to happen, why they need these extra 10 staff during our set. And I've been on both sides of that meeting, like you said, the security meeting. So I can understand how coming into that environment and saying, look, in the third song, we're going to ask for as many people over the barrier as possible. And someone who's new at the job, how that can seem quite scary and like make people panic. But I think it's just about communicating that understanding that, look, if things are getting out of hand, we'll see it before you. Don't worry, everything's cool. They know what they're doing. We know what we're doing. So. Yeah. Do
you guys have I can't remember watching the video, but was there a barricade for that show, or was people just right up on the stage?
For the Unbroken Glass video? No barrier. We knew straight away we didn't want a barrier. We wanted it.
Stage dive. Yeah, because everybody's stage diving. Yeah, right, of course.
Yeah, we wanted as many people on that stage as it would hold.
Some of those motherfuckers were getting so much air, dude. Jesus Christ. It was sick.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys must have just been like, oh my God, I hope that guy's safe.
Yeah, there was a few scary moments for sure, definitely.
Were they jumping off the PA? Is that what I'm like? Yeah.
Yeah, there was a couple of friends doing like trying to do backflips because we actually like before the actual show started, we wanted to stage some scenes just for like extra footage, and so we got some of the crowd there early just to mime a show, and it turned into a bit of a competition on who could have like the most flamboyant stage dive off the stuff. And I think, yeah, before the doors had even opened, we had a kid with a dislocated shoulder and broken nose and a broken arm. And
Oh my God.
yeah, I've got to give it to them. They committed to it 100%.
Right. That's awesome. And it's like a war wound. It's like a war wound that they get to tell for the rest of their lives. Like, I dislocated my shoulder at the Malevolence show.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I think the first time I saw Machine Head, I pretty much got knocked out. And then it was when you played with Slipknot at the arena.
Okay.
And was it 2007? I think
2008. Yeah.
2000. Yeah.
What arena? What arena was that?
Sheffield Arena.
Okay, Sheffield Arena.
I think it was it when Phil collapsed or something?
Oh my God! Yeah, right.
That was
set.
Yeah, that was the first time I saw you guys.
Okay.
And I remember being picked up off the floor, and the show was over. I was like, "What have I missed?
What happened? That was short."
Yeah. How long was I out? But yeah, that was a wild show, really wild show.
That danger though. I've listened to you talk about that before. That danger is what makes it so fun and so thrilling.
Yeah, yeah. Go on. Sorry.
No, it was just I mean, it is what like that. I know for me, like even when I was a kid, like so much of what attracted me to thrash and punk and hardcore was that, for us, I started going to shows. My first thrash show was this band called Exciter. They're like a Canadian thrash band. And I loved them. I thought they were awesome. It's the first time I'd ever seen a circle pit. I was like, holy shit, what the fuck is this? And then the second show I went to was DRI on the Violent Pacification EP when all they drew was San Francisco skinheads. And it's at the MAB. And this is at a time when like San Francisco, there was a time prior to the tech boom when San Francisco was just like this fucking lawless, crazy, the area where all the venues were was like just burned out buildings and squats and so that's where DRI played. And I just remember it was so fucking violent. And I had hair at the time, it's only like my hair was like down to here. I'm going into the show and I'm like, holy shit. And we get in, it's just like these fucking linebacker sized dudes, just all shirtless and fucking gigantic. Like they just got out of prison. And I'm like, holy fuck, it's me and my friend Leroy. And we're just like two little 15-year-old kids. And we turn around behind us and this long haired guy was coming in and one of the skinheads just runs up to this dude and fucking punches him right as he pays his $5. Boom. No long hairs. We were like, holy shit. We like tried to pull our flannels up like above our fucking head. And I don't even remember the band that played before them, but I just remember DRI's set where it was like a 45-minute long fight. Like skinheads jumping up, like breaking beer bottles and like sticking it in their forehead and then like smearing the blood on their face and jumping off. And I was like, it was terrifying and exhilarating all in the same breath. And I was like, I need more of this. Like, this is what I need more of.
That's it, man. That knowledge in the back of your head that you're not quite safe is, I think, one of the main things that drew me to going to shows when I first started going to shows. Like that kind of fear that you might get fucked up, like you might actually get hurt. And I think it's like the same thing that, like extreme athletes and these guys that are doing like backflips going down the mountains on motorbikes and stuff like that. I think it's the same kind of dopamine hit that they're getting. It's like that adrenaline rush is you can't really beat it. Like that danger element is so appealing.
What's the first time you remember feeling that at a show?
First time.
Like first show you go to where you're like, fuck, I might get my ass kicked, or whatever.
I think the first time was probably seeing Chimera. Yeah, either Chimera or Killswitch. Chimera played in Sheffield at this little venue called the Corporation, and it was back before like legal capacities were like a thing, and it was when you could smoke inside. And I just remember like 1,000, maybe 1,000 people fitting in this 800 capacity room, and it was just like hemmed in like sardines, sweaty, and like you couldn't even stand up because the crowd was just swaying. And that, like, yeah, that I think that was probably the first time I was like, oh shit, this is scary, but it's sick. I love it. Yeah.
What album is that on? Possibility of Reason or anything like that?
It was no. So the first time I saw him was, I think it was just after that. Maybe it was just before Resurrection, actually.
Okay.
Or just during that campaign, because I know some of the guys. I remember the first time that they came. All the rest of the band went, and I couldn't go for some reason, because I think maybe my mum didn't want me to go or something. I think I was only like 12 or something. And but yeah, the second time they came around, I was like, I am going to this show. And like nothing's stopping me. I'm going. So yeah, they're still to this day like one of my favorite bands. Like collectively as a band, like one of our all-time favorites.
That's awesome.
That Impossibility of Reason album is like one of my top threes. It's incredible.
Power Trip is fucking sick to this day. Fuck your Power Trip. Just dude, fucking heavy as balls.
Yeah, man, that whole album from start to finish. It's one of those albums that for me, I can put it on from start to finish and enjoy every single minute. You know, like sometimes you'll get an album that you kind of like, you know, you might falter off, but every song on that album is a straight classic. And we were doing an Instagram live the other day, and someone actually said, how much have I got to pay to see you guys do a Chimera cover right now? And we were just like, okay, bang.
You went into it?
Yeah, I jumped on guitar. Con jumped on vocals, and we just smashed out Cleansation.
Nice.
Like, yeah, all-time favorite.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, man.
Does Mark know that you guys are big fans?
I don't know. We've never actually. I don't think we've ever like had any.
I'll hit him up after this. Actually,
yeah, man.
I'll hit him up right now and just say I'm doing an interview with. He's like, I text with them all the time. He's an awesome dude, man. He's a fucking great dude.
This is like I'm not gonna lie, Rob. This is like a major like fanboy moment for me right now. You've got yourself, and you're talking about texting Mark. That's crazy to me.
Malevolence. I'm just gonna talk this on the podcast right now. Comma, huge fans. Comma, we're talking about you.
I love that.
No, he'll get back. He's a cool homie. We did a bunch of dates with those guys. I think we did one of their first tours. I don't know. Back in the day. Super nice guys though, man. Fucking
yeah.
Great heavy shit. Great heavy songs.
Yeah, really good. And I mentioned this the other day to some of our friends. They weren't kind of afraid to try new things, and like I feel like that whole kind of sound that they created, I feel like it was quite unique to them, like especially with like stuff like Down Again as well. I remember when I first heard that song on that album, and I just thought, where did that come from?
It's an awesome song.
Yeah, and that inspires us a lot. Like with this new album, like when we have like our slower songs, like we're drawing that kind of influence to not be held into this mold of just doing heavy stuff. We want to mix it up as well. So
I think that they're a band too that's like they came around at a perfect time. We're probably more influential than they realize. You know what I mean? Like they kind of came at this perfect time, early 2000s, whole new generation of young people's coming out, and like they were killing it. You know, like for you that must have been like it must have been the perfect time to like, you know, here's this, you were probably into whatever you were into, and then Chimera came along, and maybe they were like the heavier thing that you started getting into.
Right? Like that whole like Roadrunner era was like was my kind of introduction to a lot of.
He just got back. He said, "Tell them, hey, I just listened to them on Friday. New track rips."
Sick. That's amazing. That's got me so hyped.
Shout out to Mark Hunter from Chimera.
Yeah, man. Shout out, Mark. Thank you. Um, I completely lost track of what we were saying.
Oh, just about their influence, and like I don't.
Yeah,
What
sorry.
what did so what do you what do you start listening to like when you're first getting into metal music?
So, my first ever like heavy album. I mean, it's not even really heavy compared to today's standards, but I remember my mum once bought me Hybrid Theory, Linkin Park.
Yeah.
That like this was like before I even really listened to much metal, and that was like a bit of a gateway album for me. And then
Dude, you and so many people.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
record, I mean, it's a fucking awesome record. Like, it's a great top to bottom record.
Yeah, 100%. That's another album that you can just put on from start to finish, and it's just like every song is a hit.
Totally.
And then shortly after that, it was Chocolate Stardog and Chocolate Starfish and the Hot Dog Flavored Water, Limp Bizkit.
Gotcha.
That was a big one. And then Ascendancy. And
Ascendancy. Wow, nice.
Yeah. So obviously we got Matt on the new album, and that was another fanboy moment for us, really, because having that, obviously the guy who kind of got me the first like proper screamer that I really listened to, and now I'm like adding him on Call of Duty to like play some games with him.
Right.
So weird, man. It's so weird, but yeah, I've got a lot to thank like Matt for, because he was so willing to jump on the new album and threw himself into it 100%. He like messages and was like, "Yo, have you got space for me? Let me jump on." And we were like, "Yeah, we'll make space for you, man. Like, it's no problem."
That's awesome.
Yeah. And honestly, like through for yourselves, like Machine Head, like Burn My Eyes and Through the Ashes of Empires, that album was like insane. Like when I first heard Imperium, I think it was on like one of the metal channels that we have here in the UK. And this was like when I'm first starting to listen, I'm like, yeah, fucking hell. Like when the snares come in, I was like, what is this? This is crazy.
Thank you, man.
So yeah, like that was a huge inspiration for me. And then I remember there was I think it was a Metal Hammer or a Kerrang DVD that had Seasons Wither live at Brixton.
Right.
And it had the
not released in the UK. Yeah.
Yeah, and that I remember, because this was in an age where like when you had to like torrent music and stuff like that, and like I heard this song on the DVD. I was like, yo, I can't find this song anywhere. And I was like, I remember searching for months and months. Where do I find Seasons With It? And I think I managed to find it on a website somewhere. So apologies now. I think I probably torrented it, but yeah, like
it's fine. Thousands, tens of thousands of other. The record was like up on the torrents like 2.5 months before the record even dropped. So
really,
we were like, oh well, fucking whatever.
Oh shit. What's that like? Like, because obviously we didn't.
You know what? Like, I think that bands. I guess I think it depends on what era you come from. For a band like us, like I had a friend named Jim Pittman who was a tape trader, and he was the guy who I credit with getting me into like the thrash scene. Up until then I was listening to heavy stuff, but like he was the guy who turned me on to like all the underground metal, Metallica, Slayer, Exodus, and because he was a tape trader, he had like. Dude, he had every fucking demo and every live bootleg. I mean, he had a 14-page list, and he would just trade with people. And so we would just listen to fucking new music, and all of it was, illegally copied. All of it. Everything. Yeah. We had Rain and Blood 3 months before it came out. We had Exodus Bonded by Blood 6 months before it came out. Like, I mean... We were listening to the Metallica bootlegs, bootlegs galore of Slayer, and so to me, like, and there was kind of a scene like some of the records back then, like you'd buy it and it'd have like a picture of a cassette, and it'd have like a like a crossed out cassette, and it'd be like, home taping is killing music. I'm like, no, it's not. Like, we're all like, I wouldn't even know about your band if it wasn't for some dude in fucking the UK taping a Venom album and sending it to my friend. So to me, like, I've always looked at it like that, and just like hey, people are out there, and if people are talking about it, it's cool. And hey, if you like it after you've torrented it, or if you like it after you got it from a burn on a cassette, like just buy it and support the band.
That's it. I agree 100%. I feel like in this day and age now, it's inevitable that your music is gonna end up in the hands of someone for free. But as long as that person, I think we've even said it before, like, we don't even care if when we put out our first album, we don't even care if you stream it, but if you come to a show and buy a t-shirt or jump off the stage, that's all I'm bothered about.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to support a band now. Not just buying a physical product. I mean, I don't know about you, I don't even buy physical products anymore. Like,
no, I don't. I honestly can't
Spotify.
remember. I can't remember the last time I bought a CD. Like, I think it's all just Spotify and streaming and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, and especially for someone like the two of us, like we travel, we're on the road. Like, do you want to bring your CD? I don't want to bring my vinyl, my record player on tour.
Exactly.
Bouncy fucking vehicle that I'm in. Like.
So if you were to buy something, would you prefer to buy vinyl over CD now?
No, I wouldn't.
No?
I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, I think that the majority of people would disagree with me, and I know vinyl's super, super popular. Like we sell vinyl on our own, and it's like out of our store, and it's like fucking crazy. Like it's insane.
Yeah.
And, but I wouldn't, I don't think I'd buy either. Like I just wouldn't buy either. Like I stream it. That's what I do. Like that's how I'm going to listen to it. I'm going to listen. Most of the time I listen to music, I'm driving. Like when I'm driving, I got about a half an hour drive just to get to my studio here. And that's when I listen to music. So on that half hour drive to here, or the half hour drive back, or just when I'm on the road. So, I do listen to music like on the weekends at my house, but rarely will I listen to music like in the middle of the week in my house. Like I wouldn't put on a record. I wouldn't play a CD.
That's interesting. I feel like you say, vinyl right now is obviously it made this massive comeback, and I feel like if I'm like in the same with you. Like I wouldn't ever buy a CD or vinyl, but if I was to buy a vinyl, it'd be more for like an artwork. So like to frame on a wall. If I really like someone's artwork,
Right.
I'd like to frame it, and it's like a piece of art rather than a piece of music. Almost.
Right. Totally. Yeah, totally. No, I could see that. I say this. I just bought the Iron Maiden Senjutsu vinyl last night. I went to Guitar Center because like our PA speaker blew, so I had to buy a speaker. And I saw it there, and I was like, "Fuck!" I was looking at it. It's like a triple vinyl. I guess the record's almost an hour and a half long. I was like, Jesus Christ! Like anyway, it's a triple vinyl, and I was just like, "That's pretty sick." I want to see what this looks like, just to like see, what other people are doing and I gotta say, like, shout out to fucking Maiden. Like, it's a sick ass vinyl package. Like, it's really high quality.
I can imagine them guys are just doing some crazy stuff when it comes to vinyls now. Like you say, like a triple vinyl. Like you see some, like when we were discussing what we wanted to do, we kind of like looked around at what other people are doing, and like honestly, it was like a whole world of like things that I knew nothing about. Obviously, I don't really buy vinyls, but like seeing what people are doing and like including in with the vinyls and how like things fold out, just like simple things like how things fold out, like artwork comes out and what's included with it. Like it's crazy, like, and it's sick because it's for the people buying it. It makes it like special.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's definitely like, I think it's a collector mentality, and I dig that, and I get that. Like I totally get it, and we're gonna, like if we're gonna do something, we'll put out super high quality shit. But for me, I'm just like I'm too mobile in my life to that to be the only way that I listen to music.
Yeah. So what's when you're driving to places and stuff, what kind of stuff you're listening to?
I mean,
do you have anything that you're like really bumping right now?
Malevolence. I was bumping the new I like the latest. I like the latest Knock Loose, but I've been listening to the previous Knock Loose, the I wrote a song, up any better, like all that shit. The fucking riff is heavy as fuck, dude. I like that new After the Burial.
Okay,
The
that's
latest.
the one.
It's not new, but it's the latest After the Burial.
Sick.
I was rocking, and then I rock, like I rock some pretty, I'll rock like a lot of hip hop. I'm a big hip hop head, so I always listen to hip hop, and I'm always trying to hear like new hip hop, even if it's like my son. My son listens to a ton of hip hop, and most of it's just so lame. Like it's so soft. I'm always complaining to him like, this shit's so soft. I'm like, come on, where's the hard shit? Like, he's like, there is no hard shit, Dad. but every once in a while he'll throw like some hard, and I'm like, I want the hard beat, I want the hard flow, and so he'll throw something. But like I'll listen to like something. I gotta say, it's totally it's so dumb, it's so bad, but I can't stop listening to it. Young Gravy. Like,
Young Gravy. I don't know
Gravy, that. Like it's like there's a song, he's got this song that's kind of like a Spanish thing. It's so fucking dumb, but like I can't stop fucking listening to it. It's so catchy, and
that's a sign of a good song, though.
It
if
is.
It's catchy,
I follow this dude. He's a photographer. His name's Adam DeGrosse, and he does a bunch of people. He does Suicide Boys and Post Malone and shit like that, and it's crazy. Like I follow this dude, and I'm old. I'm a dinosaur compared to you and the rest of your guys. You know what I mean? Like I'm fucking old, but I feel like I keep my ear to the street and I know what's going on. And like, even like in the hip hop world, like I know what's going on relatively, but I follow this dude's Instagram page and he puts up photos. Oh, here's so-and-so. And I'm like, who is that? I click on their thing. It's like 4 million followers. I'm like, who the fuck is this? Like I've never even heard this person's name anywhere. And he's got 4 million followers, or she, or whoever. So
yeah, I feel like right now that whole like hip hop rap, that whole world is like exploding, but then it's such a high turnover rate. Like
yes,
who's big today is like almost like gone by tomorrow. There's so many new people coming through. Like I listen to a lot of like UK rap as well. I think we all do. Like we all love like our rap and like grime and
right,
all different stuff from like the UK, and it's the same like over here in like UK rap. There's so many new rappers coming through all the time. That scene is so competitive, and like they're trying to stay relevant all the time. So you've got all these guys that are producing like really hard shit. Like they have that UK drill sound, which is like kind of merged across, like obviously come from Chicago and stuff like that. And then New York have put their spin on it. And it's like this global sound now. And they're like all doing crazy stuff in the videos and who's trying to outdo each other. Like who's got the sickest video.
right.
But I feel like that whole scene is crazy because like
who's the top of that scene right now
in the UK?
Yeah, like who's got the craziest video right now that you're talking about?
I saw one the other day for a rapper called Heady One, and he had
Heady like head or heavy?
Heady like head. Yeah, Heady One, and the song's called Call of Duty or something like that.
Okay.
And he's literally just walking through like World War II trenches in like an all white tracksuit, and there's like pyros going off, people getting shot, and it looks insane, man. Like and like that whole just I'm trying to think who else have I seen. There's a lot of UK rappers doing like sick high-end videos at the minute.
Okay.
And that's like where we draw a lot of our, because we sit at home watching these videos all the time, like me and Wilkie, and we draw a lot of inspiration from it. Like we want like our videos to like be like wow, like that high end, that high budget, and look clean and sharp, and that's kind of like what inspires us. So we definitely draw a lot of inspiration from that.
Right. So Heady One, give me 3 rappers to check out, UK rappers. I'm not that familiar with too much UK rap, like
okay,
especially here in America. American rap is so dominant.
Okay, I'm on the spot now.
I got Heady One. Even if I just go down a YouTube rabbit hole off of Heady One, I'm sure I'll find other dudes.
Yeah, Heady One's really popular right now. There's Gigs, who's like, he's been going for a long time in the London scene. Yeah, he's just like, he does stuff with Drake right now, and so he's huge. But a lot of his older stuff is like, it's got that raw London gangster rap sound, and it's really like aggressive and dark. But
Cool.
He's one of my favorites.
That's what I like. That's what I, that's what my ear is always drawn to, like the evil notes and the, it doesn't even have to be hard vocals. It's just as long as it's got like a dark vibe to it.
Yeah, I mean, he's got one of like the deepest voices in rap music. So like, his style is almost like lazy talking, but everything you say is like this, and it's just like, it's so hard, man. It's everything he's saying, and he's talking about like the hilarious stuff as well. So yeah, definitely check Gigs out.
All right.
And one of the new people that's I've been listening to a lot is Abracadabra. It's not an amazing name, but he's sick. And he's jumped on this like new sound of like UK drill, where it's kind of like fast, hard, aggressive beats. But yeah, he's quite versatile. Like I
might be into that, because I've been missing like up tempo. Like rap right now is really slow. Like everything is so slow. It drives me crazy.
Yeah, he's another one that's got like a really deep voice, but he's really good. Really writes really catchy songs.
Right. So Abracadabra, Gigs, and Heady One.
Yeah, I'll check that out. Yeah.
Malevolence approved.
Yeah, man.
Speaking of singers, though, I gotta give a shout out to your dude Con, man. Like, he's got a really great voice. I think that I've listened to all the records and kind of the evolution of your band, and I think The Other Side is really like pretty bold move for you guys. Like incredible guitar playing. Like both your guys are fucking phenomenal guitar players, and to just hear the interplay and to hear a very emotional vocal, like a very you can hear the ache in his voice, and I love that. That's such a it's very unique when it happens. A lot of male singers have trouble getting there, and it's kind of cool.
Yeah, he's amazing, man. And we kind of, when we did The Other Side, it was definitely like we'd kind of dipped our toe into that sound before, like with like a few hooks. We've kind of dabbled with it, but we never really took the plunge as such. And that was kind of our first real like, right, we're gonna write a song like this, and Con's gonna be the main. It's his song basically. So yeah, and yeah, he's always been able like to sing, but we've always, he's always been able to sing, and we'd be at like band practice or doing whatever, and he'd be like singing away in the corner, setting up his gear, and I'm like, yeah, he can actually sing like in key, and he's amazing. So yeah, we definitely wanted to try and like incorporate more of that into our sound. And I feel like now it's kind of almost like a signature thing. Like it's not just like me on vocals, it's me and Con on vocals, and I love having that kind of that contrast of his style and then my style together, because I feel like they complement each other quite well.
Totally.
And I've never been able to sing, and I wouldn't even like to try really. Like it's not something that I'm very good at all.
But you're really good at singing heavy, like really, really good.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Yeah, I feel like when we're writing like The Other Side and some of the new songs on the album, I like to sit with Con, and I'll try and do what I think the melody should be, and I'll be like, Con, try and sing like this, or try this line like that, and we'll bounce ideas off each other, but then he'll go into the recording booth and lay something down. I'm like, what you've just done is like 10 times better. So yeah, he's sick. He's sick at just being like able to improv on the spot, or like what a cool melody that
Oh,
will
cool.
come to it.
That's awesome.
So yeah, shout out to Con. I know he. Do you know what? This is the first time I've ever done like a podcast, and he was like helping me set up all the mic and the gear, because he's
the
like,
first time you've ever done a podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
So it's a sick one to start with. But he was helping me like set up the microphone and stuff earlier, and I think he would have loved to have been here. So I'll give him a big shout out when I see him next.
Do you guys write lyrics together? Like, do you guys sit down and like, I think maybe like I'll sing this part or you sing this part, or like how does that all work?
So mainly when it comes to writing lyrics, it's like me, Wilkie, and on this album, Josh and Con, we kind of all sat down together and we'd kind of pick a theme that we want to address, and kind of go from there and bounce ideas off each other. But then also Con will come down maybe on his own to the studio and just like record something without even telling us. Then the next time we turn up to the studio, he's like, "Hey, check this out." Hit play, and I'm like, "Oh, sick! We've now got a smash hit chorus." So yeah, on this album we definitely kind of all pitched in a lot more, and yeah, I think when it comes to writing lyrics, it's something that we've maybe like, I wouldn't say struggled with, but we like to take our time and we like to perfect what we're saying. And obviously, like as we've been going on, like the content has like matured with us. So now we're actually trying to like say something that's meaningful and like has an impact, and people can relate to them and it resonates with them. And I feel like having that group energy of like bouncing ideas off each other is like a great way of doing that. Because you might have an idea which you think is the best idea in the world, and then you'll come down to show it to the guys and they're like, "Nah, that sucks." And as I'm sure you know.
Totally.
So yeah, I mean, what about you guys? Like when it comes to writing lyrics, what is your, like, how do you operate? Like, how do you work? Is it just
I run pretty much. I've always run everything past the guys, whoever it was. You know, like right now it's Jared, so I ran it past Jared, and I think that a lot of times you can just go, like sometimes they'll read something, they'll go, like they'll like read the lyric and just even there's still like I'm like, okay, like that's not the reaction I was looking for.
Dude, that feeling of like you think you've got a sick line, you look up from reading it and everyone's just sat there like,
they're like, what?
Yeah, not good. But.
I mean, for me, I'm my own worst critic. Like I can rewrite. I've rewritten songs like 9 times, like thrown 9 sets of lyrics out and just been like, okay, I got my one hook, but that's the only thing that's good. Everything else sucks. And so I just do that. And I tend to do that quite a bit until, sometimes, and you probably know this, but like sometimes when you write something, like it reads really well, but then when you sing it, it sounds wrong, like, or it doesn't sound right.
Yeah, totally.
So there's a lot of that, I think. Like, and so, I think that's what you're saying. Like, is that what you mean when you're like talking about perfecting your song?
Yeah, 100%. Like, we are definitely our own worst critics, and myself, it takes me a while to be happy with everything that I lay down. And like you said, like we're the same. We rewrite songs maybe 5 or 6 times or change things, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, because I feel like although it maybe delays the process, and I feel like we've always been a band that kind of like takes our time with releases. Like we haven't really put out a lot of music we've been going like 12 years, so we've always kind of took our time when it comes to writing, and that's just because we just really want to be happy, everyone happy with what we put out. And so yeah, I think it can be like a good thing and a bad thing.
Yeah.
But
with me, I think it's got to be like, if it goes through a million revisions, cool, but the last revision has to be like, I got, like you're the one who's got to sing it. Like it's got to mean something to you, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and there's a couple of songs like I think like on our first album where when we wrote them, like Josh, our guitarist, was like 16 years old, and like I was, just 20. So the things I wanted to sing about when I was 20, I like now I'm 28. I'm like, oh, I don't really want to sing about that anymore. But
that'll happen.
That's all part of the process, I guess. So yeah,
absolutely, it absolutely is, man. And like you got to get there. Like you've got to do those things in order to get to where you are now. Like you've got to say something, and then I think it's pretty healthy to look back on something and be like, ugh.
What we're thinking.
What was I thinking? I got a whole career of that. What the fuck were you thinking? But you live and learn, and you just keep on going, and like you go with what felt right at the time, right? Like like that's what it's about.
Yeah, exactly. It's all like it's like relevant to what's going on in your life at that time. So yeah.
All right, cool. I just wanted to talk to you too. I gotta say you've been pretty vocal about this, and I think it's pretty amazing. But you've been very vocal about men's mental health, and I know you lost some friends at the beginning of the pandemic, and you lost like 4 friends in a 2-month period or something like that. I think it's pretty hard to wrap my head around. Is fucking horrible. And I think the fact that you talk about that, it's really interesting to me as an older guy. Like I grew up in an era where like it was not okay to talk about that kind of stuff. It was not okay for a man to express feelings about mental health, and it took me till almost I was 30 years old before I went to therapy and started dealing with all of this shit inside of me, because it was just not okay to do that. And I just think it's so refreshing and kind of liberating in a way to hear you talking very openly at shows about it, openly in interviews about it, and just wanted to say kudos to that. And if you could talk about that for a little bit.
Yeah, I am. So I'll be the first to admit that, and I'll say this to anyone. I'll be the first to admit that I've never claimed to be like an expert or a preacher. I will only ever kind of speak on my kind of personal experiences, and I've obviously like you said, we've lost quite a few of our friends and family members over the last few years, and it's still going on now to like I said, to addiction and to suicide. And I think there was just a point for me internally where I didn't want to get on stage and not acknowledge the fact that this is such a big thing that is going on. And yeah, there is a lot of people talking about it right now, which I think is great. And I think I just felt like I needed to almost kind of say my piece and say my part. And when I said, like, on the stage the first time, I said like about us losing friends, it was really just straight from the heart. And I needed to get this off my chest and say it's all right to not feel okay, and talking to the people around you will make things easier. And I sat down with the guys like before we played the show, and I said, look, like this was like really soon after we'd lost a couple of friends, and I said, like, I want to say something on stage, and it's something I've never really done before. Like in the 12 years that we've been doing the band, it's not something that I've never talked about on stage. We're very much a band that gets on stage, does the macho kind of tough guy, puts on a crazy show, and then walks off, and that's it. But I sat down with the guys. I said, look, I really want to say what's on my mind and say what's in my heart right now, because I feel like when I was listening to bands younger, and I was hanging off their every word, and I feel like if what I say at a show even resonates with one person, then that's great. That's what I want. And like I said, it's anxiety is something that I've like struggled with, and I still struggle with now. And especially over the last few years, like it's been a thing that's kind of become quite a daily factor in my life. So why not speak on it, and why not kind of give my experiences? Because at the end of the day, just because we're in bands and we play music, that we still have the same things that everybody else have. And I think sometimes it's good to remind people that you have this kind of this distance that you sometimes have with like bands and stuff. Really isn't. It's all made up. Like we're all the same. We're all human. Just because we're in a band doesn't mean we're not affected by the same stuff. So that was kind of like what was the driving force behind me just really kind of speaking up. I said I'll never claim to be like a mental health expert or a preacher or anything like that. I will just say what I feel needs to be said, and always encourage the conversation of between friends and family of, I'm not feeling so good. This is going on in my life. Can we talk about it? Because speaking from personal experience as well, like shit gets easier when you do. So, yeah.
Yeah. Shit gets easier after you start speaking about it, you're saying?
Yeah. And like that, taking that first step can like, and just like opening up to someone about how you've been feeling can be like insanely daunting. So I feel like having people in like the fortunate position that we're in, like encouraging that, is a good thing.
Yeah. No, good for you, man. Yeah, that's cool. I think that's important, man.
Yeah,
I agree with what you say, that even if like one kid hears that, like it's, I can think of plenty of things like that were said that shows I was going to, that like helped,
Yeah, exactly. And like, yeah, I remember like going to like some of the first shows I went to, like hardcore shows and stuff, and you're there to have a good time and that, but you do take on board what people are saying when they're like in between the songs, and it does kind of stick with you. And now I'm in that fortunate position to do the same. So yeah, I just felt like I needed to to get it off my chest, really. And
did you find that people reacted to that, like maybe not at the show, but maybe after the show when you're talking to kids? Did they,
yeah, massively. Yeah, I've got a lot of messages on Instagram. I think it actually resonated with more people than I thought. And just like speaking to people like after the show at the merch table and stuff like that, it makes you realize that it has resonated with people. And it's nice to hear that your words have been like almost taken on board, I guess. And to hear it actually like it has had an effect. So yeah, it was. I've had a lot of. I remember the first time I said something like that on stage. Was at the download pilot last year, straight after all the lockdowns had ended. So obviously everybody who was there, this event just come out of like a rough 2.5 years,
right?
And speaking about these things like straight away, I think resonate with people, because obviously you've got so many people coming out of like tough situations. And yeah, I guess it just the amount of like positive response I got after that show alone was insane. Like a lot of Instagram messages and tweets and texts from family members and friends, just like, I heard what you said, thank you for saying that. And yeah, it's cool. It's weird because I'm still kind of in this, like, me personally, I'm still in this phase of like, is it my place to say something? But also like, yeah, it is. I mean, it almost feels like I'm pushing myself completely out of my comfort zone to talk about this stuff, which is a good thing, I guess.
Totally,
and
it totally is. Like you're totally. I mean, you're making yourself vulnerable.
Yeah. That's exactly it. And I totally get, like, because a lot of the, obviously, from my career and in the industry that I've worked in. Like I've worked with a lot of like men who, it's like you said, like, and they get to the later stage of life and they've never talked about that kind of thing before. And they're like some of the guys that I work with now, they're in the 60s and 70s, and they don't necessarily understand it, but it's becoming such a big thing that they've actually started taking it on board and listening to this kind of new like mindset, I guess.
Right.
And it's so I do. So there's still definitely, I think, like that element of macho kind of. We can't talk about this, but you know, like we can, and I feel like it's making ourselves vulnerable a little bit. It's not always a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's scary in the sense that you feel like you're giving your naysayers ammo or something, right?
Mm. Yeah, definitely. I feel like, but I think. Excuse me, I can't even get my words out. I think there was definitely an element of that, but like I said, when you do speak about these things and you realize that mindset is on that kind of negative energy, you don't really notice it when you've got so much good stuff outweighing it and good feedback and
totally.
Yeah. So
I mean, that's the thing that I think makes people connect even more.
100%.
You know, that's what makes people go, fuck, like this band is more than just mosh riffs and fucking, you know, sing-alongs or whatever, you know, like that there's something behind it. You know, and a lot of times there isn't, you know, like a lot of times, you know, I'm not going to say any bands, but like sometimes it is just mosh riffs and sing-alongs, and that's cool. But like,
and I love those bands.
I'm not gonna say there's anything wrong with it, but like me personally, I need a layer below that to like, you know, for any kind of long-term connection. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. I feel like that kind of getting to know the band, or you're getting to know the band behind the album that you're listening to on repeat is so much more important to like building that fan that will stay there and support your music for the next 10, 20 years. Like that's what people want. They want that connection. Like, so yeah, it's important. I think it's really important.
I think a song like The Other Side helps do that too, because it really is just like a very emotional song, you know, like it's very vulnerable. It's very, you know, like all the things that I said earlier about it, but you know, it's pretty bold, you know. I'm surprised. Like, have you guys played that song live yet?
Yeah, we've played it a lot of times, and it's like one of my favorite songs to play live, because it's like slap bang in the middle of the set, right when people are starting to get a bit tired and like sweaty and they need a minute to kind of catch their breath.
Okay.
And the whole vibe of the show just changes, and I tell everybody to close up the dance floor. We don't need the mosh pits. Everyone gets the phones and the lighters out, and it's just like it's a really special.
Dude, that's killer.
Yeah, man, it's
that's amazing.
We joke around and like we'll say, "Oh, light this shit up like a fucking Drake concert," and it's sick because like it's.
I love that. Like this shit up like a Drake concert.
Yeah, that is one of my favorite mosh calls. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, it's like a really cool moment, because every time we play that song, I'm like stood just at the front of the stage. I'm just grinning ear to ear, because people like sing it and like you really, really hear it. So yeah, it's a special one. It's we played it in Sheffield a few weeks ago, and it was our biggest Sheffield show that we'd done thus far. We played the O2 Academy, and there was like 2,300 people there or something. It was with While She Sleeps, and that was like a moment for me that I was like, oh, fucking hell, this is incredible, because it's like there's all these people, they've all got the phone lights out and they're singing every single word, and it's like it's like as loud as loud in my ears as Con is, and it's just like drowning him out. As I'm sure you know, there's like that for me is like there's no better feeling. So
yeah, oh yeah, That must have been. I mean, that's fucking packed for that place, dude. That's fucking slammed to the rafters.
Yeah, it was
Awesome.
sold out. Yeah, crazy.
That must have been a blast.
Yeah, so much fun. So much
Did
fun.
you guys come up with While She Sleeps?
So yeah, they so even before I joined Malevolence, so I joined in 2010. And the band was still playing like local shows before then. And so I think around like 2007, like they were playing shows to like 5 people in a local venue with While She Sleeps. So yeah, we've come up together really. Obviously, those guys are doing massive things now, like they're onto soaring new heights. But their unit, their warehouse is like 5 minutes, like a stone's throw away from ours.
Oh, okay.
So like they inspired us to build this kind of unit, and to see, like, obviously seeing a band from Sheffield do that was so motivating. And they've helped us out a lot over the years. We played a lot of shows together. Yeah, we're good friends. So yeah, it's sick. There's like a whole area like in Sheffield, like this little industrial area where there's us, Bring Me the Horizon, and While She Sleeps, all in this little industrial estate.
Oh, nice.
So it's the heavy metal corner of Sheffield.
Telling you, holy smokes. You guys had Carl Bown work on your record, right?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, he was my engineer for Through the Ashes of Empires.
Yeah, I think I asked him about it the first time I ever met him.
Oh, right on. Yeah, I spent like 3 weeks with him in fucking middle of nowhere. What's it called? The chapel in Lincolnshire.
That's it. Yeah.
So it was really remote. Like I was like, holy shit, there was nothing around. There was a pub. There was a pub. We're grateful for that.
But yeah, no, he's a really nice guy. Him and Jim Pinder, they worked on this new record, Malicious Intent, and they did such a fantastic job. And I'm so grateful to those guys as well, because they're such nice guys, and you can really have a laugh with them while you're recording. I know that like some of the lads, they came back from the studio tracking guitars, and they just like they had a whale of a time. So
that's awesome.
And I feel like they definitely put a lot of hard work into getting the album how we wanted it to sound. So I've got to give a massive shout out to those guys.
Yeah, he was Colin's engineer for a while. It was cool. He was a good guy though. I liked him, man.
Yeah, man.
Why don't you tell us your new record? Tell us about your upcoming tours. Any US stuff coming up here anytime soon? Possibly?
Not at the moment. We're working on it. We're trying to just waiting for things to align, right? But it's been,
because it's wide open here. Like, 50,000 people a day dying of COVID, but we're open for business. It's looking the wild, wild west out here. It's insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like that's as if there's that many people dying though.
It was, I don't know. Yeah. December and January were the worst. It's actually getting better now. So,
wow, shit, that's good. But I mean, we
sorry, not a day, a month. 100,000 people a month. Sorry, not.
I mean, still, fuck.
a lot of people. It's a lot of people.
Yeah. I want to come back as soon as possible. We haven't been over since 2016, I think. That was we've only been over once.
A long time.
Yeah, we came over with Kublai Khan and Jesus Piece.
Okay.
And that was our first ever time over there. And we had a really good time. But we're just waiting for,
right opportunity.
Waiting for the right opportunity. Yeah, exactly. So next we've got the upcoming UK shows with Architects. Excuse me. Which obviously are huge shows for us. Some of the biggest shows that we've done ever. So really excited for that.
Is that Europe too, or is it just the UK?
It's just the UK.
Europe's still not really open right now.
It's a bit strange. So like this weekend we're headlining a festival in Belgium. And that's our first European mainland show since 2019. So I think that sold out yesterday. So
okay, cool.
That's going to be fun. I think that's going to be because their restrictions have only just released as well. So I guess a lot of people are going to be ready for a show. So we've got, we're playing Winterfest in Belgium this weekend. And then we've got a few of the festivals, doing Download Festival. I'm trying to remember what else we're doing. My mind's gone blank now. Sorry.
Oh, good. Malicious Intents, new record, right?
Yeah. So coming out 20th of May. We're going to be dropping a single, hopefully within the next month or so, for the next video. And I think I think people are going to be a little bit shocked for the next one, because it's a bit different to the first one, and I feel like it's funnily enough probably the most Chimera inspired song on the album.
Okay, cool.
For this next one. So super excited to drop that one. That's because it's a heavy one. So the album's coming out on 20th of May. And we've got a few things lined up, and like a few things in the pipeline that aren't fully locked in yet. Obviously, with the whole kind of Europe in limbo as such, we're just kind of waiting for things to settle down. But we've got doing Download Festival this summer, and we've got a few European festivals where we're going to be hitting up as well. Yeah,
I mean, hopefully, with everything going on with Russia invading Ukraine, like that doesn't cause even more chaos in the stability of Europe.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a scary time, I guess, that we're living through right now. So I hope we can get out as soon as we can. But I'm really excited for people to hear this new album. I feel like it's definitely, it almost feels like the natural evolution of Malevolence, but also like it feels like the step up that we've needed to take. And I feel like I poured a lot of hard work and soul into it, so I'm excited to show people.
Awesome, man. Well, dude, thanks for being on the podcast.
Dude, thank you so much for having me. It was a real privilege and an honor. So this is honestly, if you told me 10 years ago like this would be happening right now, I wouldn't have believed you. So thank you so much for having me on. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, no, you're a great guest, man. Appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, right there, the mighty Andy Taylor from the mighty Malevolence.
No fucking regrets!
With ROBB FLYNN.